there's a whole class of blasters that exist that really live on Amazon. There's really no brand name to them, they are cheaply made, and they are often hilarious, ridiculous, insane. Today, it is my absolute pleasure that we're going to be reviewing the Jedi Survival foam mortar. I can't believe this thing exists. Okay, to begin this, I think we need to discuss a little bit about this, why I wanted to get it. I wanted to see how well it would work. And it's really as simple as a big giant plastic tube with foam rockets that have springs inside of them. The setup on the mortar wasn't that intuitive. It actually took me and a friend a couple tries to get it all fitting together, all the pieces together. And when it all came together, it made sense, but the instructions aren't really going to help you. So essentially what you get in the box is this big giant plastic tube. You get a base that kind of swivels a little bit, and all of the little stand mechanics here that, well, they're not gonna get any prizes for being extremely robust, durable, or even stay in place all that well. I'm actually afraid to tighten these screws on the side too much because it's just going to crack the entire thing. And if you can tell on the blaster, there is this logo here. It says Mortar, Jedi Survival, Star Wars Jedis. Here's the thing though, this whole thing isn't painted on. It's one of those heat shrink wrappers around it, which is going to be really cheap to manufacture. However, there are spots on the blaster already where very minimal use, it's starting to flake off. That means the Mortar of Jedi Survival is going to look just like a green plastic tube if I keep using this. Spoiler alert, I'm not. Also, if you notice from the unboxing clip, is that the camo wrapper on there doesn't even match what's on the box. So, I mean, you kind of know what you're getting just when you open this thing. But how does it work? How does this thing work? And actually, you know what? Credit where credit's due. It's a very clever mechanism that actually puts all of the springs inside of the foam rockets themselves. So this tube is just that, a big giant tube. All you can see is just a post down the center of it that aligns perfectly with the foam rocket. The foam rockets are where the bulk of this thing kind of operates. If you look on the back there, there is a white little disc that you can actually push down, and that is the spring-loaded mechanism. They give you this handy charger, is what I call it, to do just that. So when you push it down, you'll hear a distinct click, and as you can see, that white disc is pushed all the way in there, ready to fire. The way it fires is simple gravity. Drop it down the tube, and it just fires off. Here's a couple cool things with these rockets. You can take off the top of them, and there is a switch there. What does that switch do, you might ask? Makes them glow. We have RGBs on the Mortar rocket, so you can't say they didn't try. I don't know how long this is going to last. I suspect if you wanted to actually use one of these long term, I would probably recommend just letting the batteries run out on these and then gluing the foam head to the rest of the body, just so that it's more durable, because every time I take this off, there is some foam shavings that come off. The light switch though on the rockets isn't the only electronics on this contraption. On the Mortar itself, at the way bottom, I have to take off this disc here, and you can kind of see there's a switch right there. What does that do, you might ask? Ready? It just loops. It continues to loop. That sound will never stop. And the funny thing is it doesn't even sound like a mortar. It sounds anything but a mortar, really. Well, I might have heard one explosion. So yeah, you can set that on the ground, have the sounds running, load in your RGB flashing mortar rockets, and just kind of have a really fun 5 minutes. That's really all this is fun for, 5 minutes. Oh, you better believe I did some testing on the chronograph that I have. And yes, we have a whopping 16 feet a second for this one. There's a number of reasons why I suspect that. I think you could probably get that number a lot higher, but a lot of it actually comes down to the fact that the foam rockets themselves house a very heavy and chunky spring loading mechanism, as well as batteries and LEDs. While those things individually might not weigh a whole bunch, adding them all up together on something that doesn't have a very heavy spring load to begin with is just going to doom the performance. So the next thing you'll see is footage of this thing working, as well as other details, should you ever want to get your Mortar Jedi Survival launcher. A quick second before we do anything else, if you want Jedis to survive, be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and leave a comment about the wackiest foam launcher blaster thing that you own. All right, let's get back to it. So in conclusion, what do I think of this thing? It's basically a meme blaster, if that makes any sense. It is not practical. It is way more expensive than it should be. It is poorly made, but it is something that you will get some laughs out of. I mean, even just the rockets alone with the flashing LED on there. Like, what? Not to mention the wonderful sounds. So yes, this is a toy that you can bring out for 5 minutes, have some fun with it, get a few laughs out of it, and then promptly forget everything about it. So unfortunately, I don't think any Jedis will survive this mortar. Then again, only Sith deal in absolutes. Thanks for watching the video. I know this is a little departure from other stuff I've been doing, but I just had to share this. It is too ridiculous not to. That's it. We'll see you next time.